page 161 of A Dream of Red mentions, while Xi Ren was visiting Daiyu, an old servant of Aunt Xue's arrived with a gift of lychee, lychee in honey. Lychee in honey, oh my. Lychee is already very, very sweet. Okay, here is a word about lychee. In America, we always hear people say lychee. Maybe because it's used the American pronunciation method, lychee. If you use the orthodox, if you use the pronunciation phonetic rule, it is pronounced lychee, but in Chinese it's li zhi, so lychee, li zhi. Okay. In honey, lychee in honey, we don't eat it. Anyway, I do not eat it. It does not necessarily mean anybody do not eat it. Daiyu is different from me anyway. When the old servant caught sight of Daiyu, she nudged Xi Ren and murmured, "Now I know why Our Lady says that Daiyu and Baoyu would make a good match. She is the prettiest girl around here, that's for sure. Look at this. Daiyu, oh, she's so pretty." Later that evening, as Daiyu sat in her room, thinking of the old servant's word, she felt suddenly overcome with emotion. She began to sob and collapsed, fully dressed on her bed. As she was crying, a servant entered to announce that someone had arrived from Nanjing to collect her. Before she could reply, Lady Wang, Lady Xing, Xi Feng, and Bao Chai entered to congratulate her on the news that her father had just married her to one of her stepmother's relatives. Daiyu was distraught and did not want to leave. She begged the Lady Dowager to let her stay, but was only met with the answer that the whole thing had nothing to do with the Jia family. On her return to her room, she bumped into Baoyu, who said, "You do not have to go. Stay here with me. If you think I am lying, see the truth of my heart." With that, he pulled out a dag. He pulled out a dag and drove it into his chest, sending blood pouring out. Daiyu screamed at the top of her voice when suddenly she heard her servant Zijuan calling her name. "Wake up, miss, wake up." Daiyu opened her eyes to see that she had simply been dreaming. So Daiyu was dreaming her father had married her in Nanjing, and the whole family, you can see this is a dream, the whole family, Lady Dowager and everyone came to send her, "Okay, it's time to say bye-bye. You are married to a relative by your father." So I think you can understand, in China at that time it was arranged marriage. So this is talking about the arranged marriage. And Daiyu wanted to cry, and Daiyu dreamed about Baoyu. Baoyu is scratching his chest and with blood coming out, all bloody. And Anyway, it's all a dream and imagination. Page 162. On 162. Even once she had woken from her bad dream. Even once she had woken from her bad dream, Daiyu could not stop feeling sad. She cried until her face was red and blotchy and could not go back to sleep. She spent the night sobbing, worrying, and coughing. When Zijuan went to empty Daiyu's spittoon in the morning, she found that it was filled with flecks of blood. She cried out in shock, and Daiyu looked up and asked what the matter was. Zijuan lied that everything was fine, but the worry in her voice betrayed her. She began to cry, and this worried Daiyu even more. "You should not worry so much, miss," Zijuan sobbed. "You are too delicate to make yourself so stressed. You have nothing to worry about. Everyone here, from the Lady Dowager and the Lady Wang Dang, likes you. Everyone likes you." This suddenly reminded Daiyu of her dream, and she coughed up a mouthful of blood, mucus. When Xiangyun, Tanchun, and Xichun heard what had happened, they went to the bamboo lodge. Xiangyun looked in the spittoon and exclaimed, "Oh my goodness." Daiyu looked over to her shoulder and felt overcome with emotion. So everyone came to see her. "What is going on? Why are you so sad? You do not deserve to worry. You are okay here. It's just the starting of a bad dream. This story is called Dream of Red Mansion. There is a lot of hidden meaning, hidden implication of dream. So the more we read it, the more we start to feel it. Page 163, the following day, Dr. Wang was led to the bamboo lodge by Jia Lian. After examining Daiyu, Dr. Wang noted that her 6 paws were irregular, 六脉. So in China, we press the paws too, and the doctor press the paw can able to tell anything. Your liver problem, your lung problem, your heart problem. I remember there was one time in my college examination, and I went with my friend, my very close friend, and the doctor touched my paw and said, "Oh, you have such a strong heartbeat." And because I was quite sporty, and so I had very strong heart. And then my friend said, "Oh," he felt very ashamed. And that really touched me. And do not think anything bad about it. she felt we have such a strong heart. We should perform. We should have our SAT college entrance examination good. But unfortunately, we are not using our physicality to the best. You know, in college, if you are in high school, whatever you do good, if you do not have a good GRE, not GRE, GTA, GRE or GTA, if you do not have a score, nothing really counts. Anyway, it's something like it, the pause. Okay, go back to the story. Dr. Wang noted that Daiyu's 6 pulses were irregular, which was probably due to worry and bottled up emotion. She suggested some medicine to help. Mrs. Zhou went to see Xi Feng to report Zijuan's request for an advance of her allowance in order to be able to buy anything Daiyu might need while she was ill. Xi Feng thought about it and then decided to give Zijuan some of her own money on the condition that Miss Lin did not find out, for it was impossible to give an advance of the monthly allowance. Wow, Wang Xifeng, gosh. That same afternoon, two eunuchs arrived at the mansion and were led by Jia Zheng and Jia She into the main hall. The imperial consort, Yuan Chun, has fallen ill. So remember, Yuan Chun was from their family, one of the big daughter in the family, and one of Lady Dowager's granddaughter, and she went to the imperial court and become a very high official, and the family had a big, huge ceremony when Yuan Chun visited. Now things not working so well, Yuan Chun fell ill. The imperial consort, Yuan Chun, has fallen ill. She has asked for 4 of her relatives to visit her in the palace. After the eunuch had been led back to the gate, Jia Zheng and Jia She reported the news to the Lady Dowager. The Lady Dowager summoned Lady Xing, Lady Wang, and Xi Feng to discuss Yuan Chun's sickness. So they report she is ill, and Lady Dowager discussed with them, and she wants to get some allowance, and they got. Wow, what a complicated story. Page 164. After breakfast the following morning, the 4 women left the mansion, each in their own sedan chair. The gentlemen of lower generations, whose first name had either a Wen or a Cao as part of the character, were instructed to accompany the procession in carriages or on horseback along with their servants. So it's the Wen and Cao, depends on the family name. It was not long before the procession reached the outer west wall gate of the palace. Some eunuchs emerged to carry in the sedan chairs, while the young men dismounted and entered the palace ground on foot, while the women alighted from their chair. They went straight to Yuan Chun's bedroom. Yuan Chun invited them to sit and was handed a list of visitors by a servant. When she read the names of Jia Zheng and Jia She, among others, Yuan Chun began to weep. Daughters that can stay close to their fathers and brothers their whole life are the luckiest in the world, she said. Because she was in the imperial court, so she was not with their parents. So she said the daughters who could stay with their parents and brothers, sisters are the luckiest. I am not so lucky. That was what she was trying to say. This looks so... Is this Yuan Chun? This should not be Yuan Chun. She's ill, but she should not be so old. That is strange.